Alexander arrives at the top of the cliffs, somewhat winded after his long but uneventful climb. Alexander crawls through the small opening in the rock. Alexander finds himself in a dark cave. Alexander takes the candle from his tinderbox and uses the flint in the box to light it. Alexander crawls through the opening in the rock. The lighting in this part of the cave is better. Alexander extinguishes the candle's flame and places it back in his pack. Alexander takes a few leaves from the plant. As he does so, a strong smell of peppermint is released. Ah! Alexander crawls back into the first room of the cave. Alexander can't see a thing. Alexander takes the candle from his tinderbox and uses the flint in the box to light it. Alexander sees nothing to do with the rocky walls of the cave. Alexander crawls back through the passage to the top of the cliffs. There's nothing to do there. Alexander climbs carefully down the long face of the logic cliffs. Alexander climbs carefully down the long face of the logic cliffs. Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. From the northeast come the sounds of mysterious drums and chanting. From the east come the sounds of mysterious drums and chanting. Alexander reaches into the fire pit and takes a lump of coal. Alexander takes the scythe. The doors to the tree houses are bolted, and Alexander doesn't want to intrude into the private dwellings uninvited. The doors to the treehouse. Alexander is frozen at the spectacle before him. Robed figures are gathered around a bonfire. Some mystical ceremony is taking place, but as to its purpose, Alexander has no clue.
Brothers, look!
Uh-oh, Alexander's been seen.
This must be the foreigner we were warned about. How appropriate that he should come during our rain festival. Place him in the sacrificial cage.
Wait! I must rescue the princess!
There's an ancient druid saying, a man who would save others must first save himself.
Alexander is pushed into the confining wicker cage. And the cage is swung out over the bonfire. Alexander starts to feel a little warm. The bottom of the cage is getting uncomfortably hot. Alexander is getting really hot. Mercifully, Alexander passes out from the heat before the first tongues of flame ignite the wicker.
Tickets up. Next.
That was a bit too hot to handle. Alexander should have been better prepared. From the northeast come the sounds of mysterious drums and chanting. Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. Alexander decides to pass through the gate, preparing the shield just in case. The magic arrow completely shatters the shield. Good thing the arrow didn't hit Alexander. Alexander walks forward to step onto the gazebo. But the rose hedges on either side of the path, sensing an intruder's presence, reach out their vines and blend together. The path is blocked. Alexander takes a magnificent white rose from the rose hedges. Alexander wields the scythe, determined to get past the magical rose hedges. The leaves fly as Alexander tries to cut the branches faster than they can grow back together. He sees light. He's through.
Who dares enter Beast's garden?
My name is Alexander. I didn't mean to disturb your private garden.
No. And yet, monsieur, you could hardly have accidentally broken through the 3 enchanted traps of the Isle of the Beast.
I suppose it is simply my nature to break through enchanted traps.
You must be a prince, then. I know the nature of princes all too well. This face you see before you is hideous, is it not?
Well, for the face of a beast, it is really quite noble.
Ha! I'm glad you like it, for you will soon own one just like it. I too was once a pretty prince, caring for nothing but adventuring and rescuing fair maidens. But I rankled one too many evil hags. One dark night, I was turned into this obscenity you see before you, warped in shape and trapped on this enchanted island over 100 years ago.
Surely there is a way off this island.
Oh, surely. You broke in, did you not? And yet think, where would I go clad so eloquently as I am with this silk and this pelt? You see, my prison is also my sanctuary. You are the first to break through the barriers in lo these many years. That is, except for the druids who stole my heirloom coat of arms.
If there's any way I can help...
Help? You? I'm afraid you don't understand. The enchanted barriers were a warning and protection for you more than for me. Your prize for forcing your way past them is to join me in this dire life. By the laws of this sorcery, you are doomed to be trapped in the form of a beast. Your reward for broaching this garden is to be my slave. A slave as beastly as I am. You have only a few hours of humanity left.
But that's not possible. There must be some way to break the enchantment. Spells always have a weakness somewhere.
The enchantment you are under is tied to my own. Oh, the sorceress left me a way out. But I'm afraid it was only her final bitter joke. You see, I need only find a maiden to join me here, to share my castle, my life, willingly. Take another look at me. You can't help but admire the hag's terrible cruelty and cunning.
I shall try to find such a maid, for Casima's sake.
Truly? How determined of you. I personally would not waste my last few hours as a man on an impossible errand. However, you may do as you please. I give you this token. It's my family ring, and the only heirloom I have left. If perchance you should... if you think you have found a maid...
I shall give her this ring.
Yes, she must accept it of her own free will. By doing so, she accepts me. Not that you shall find anyone, mind you. Your time is short. Count the minutes on your fingers while your fingers you have, pretty prince. Your master will await you.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. The girl is too shy and fearful to talk to a stranger, especially a tall, handsome one such as Alexander.
Pardon me, maid. I hope you don't think me forward, but I see that you like roses. I thought you might, perhaps, like a fresh white rose.
Alexander can see the conflict in the girl's pretty face as she fights between her distrust of him and her desire for the white rose. The rose wins.
Oh, I shouldn't, sir, but it is so lovely. I've never seen a rose of white. It looks so pale and delicate. Wherever did you find one of such a color?
There are many hedges of them on the Isle of the Beast, and they grow together like magic.
Oh, truly? What an adventure that must be to see them. But I should not speak so. especially to a stranger. Thank you for the rose, though, kind sir.
Do you live in this house, maid?
Well, my stepmother and her children live here. I live out back in the stables.
Your stepmother? Then you're not well, I thought you were,
A servant? I am, I suppose. You see, my mother died and my father remarried. He passed on shortly afterwards. My stepmother has no obligation to feed and clothe me. I only try to repay her for my upkeep as best I can.
I see.
Alexander has a thought about the serving girl. He decides to bring up the subject of Beast with her.
Let me tell you about the place where the white roses grow. The Isle of the Beast is an enchanted place. There's a path running through a deep forest. The path crosses 3 magic blockades, set to keep all visitors away. At the center lives a tremendous beast.
Really? Magic blockades? How exciting! What kind of a beast? Is it very terrifying and ferocious?
It is a beast that walks on 2 legs and dresses like a prince. It speaks with the voice of a man.
A beast that talks and wears clothes? How is that possible? Is the beast magic too?
Not magical. Enchanted. Beast was once a prince, but a witch trapped him in the form of a beast and set him on the island. There he lives in a castle in the midst of a maze.
How terrible! Imagine how lonely he must be.
It is a very lonely prospect, isn't it? Oh, I have met him, you see. He is indeed ferocious, but who would not be?
He really exists? Oh, how it breaks my heart. If I could, I would tend to such a beast. Such a beast might find comfort in a kind face. Do you not think it so?
Oh, I think it's so. I very much think it's so. You would not be afraid of him?
Afraid? Maybe at first. But how silly of me to speak so. The roses in this little yard are the only magic I will ever see.
I could take you there. In fact, I would owe you my life if you would go. If you truly wish to go.
You are serious? I could leave here? Oh, I have always dreamt of leaving. But to actually go... This is the only home I have ever known.
Home is a hard place to leave, even if you're unhappy there.
But I will go. If I can help him, I must go.
Is there nothing you wish to take with you?
There is nothing.
Then take this ring. It is his. He will be pleased if you would wear it.
Why, it's the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. Thank you kindly, sir.
Beauty! Where do you think you're going?
To a place where roses grow, and to someone who truly needs me.
I see you wear my ring. You willingly agreed to spend your life here with me? Do you know what that means?
Yes, my lord, I do. I have been touched by your story.
Pity alone need not sentence you to endure this face.
Oh, but it is a gentle face, and kind.
You look at me so sweetly and are not repulsed. Oh, by the light of your eyes, my spirit soars. The enchantment! It is broken!
I am pleased to have served you, my lord. Do you still wish me to stay?
What? Speak not such nonsense, Beauty. Do you think that I learned nothing of true love during my time here? You are my queen.
Oh, my clothes! This gown!
How well it suits your noble heart.
Alexander, How can I ever repay you? I have nothing to offer except my gratitude. But please, take these old clothes. Perhaps you'll find someone in need during your travels.
You have already repaid me by your example of courage, Beauty. And by your friendship, I hope.
You will always have our friendship and loyalty, Prince Alexander. But from a fellow adventurer, take some advice. If you find your true love, protect her with your life. Fear all beasts without the redeeming humanity of love. And to aid you, accept my mirror. Now that my life is no longer hung in false shadows, I have no need for it. Give it to someone with nothing to fear from the truth it reveals.
Thank you. I wish you both well.
Come, Beauty. Let me take you home.
The gate has been firmly shut and latched. It looks like the prince and his beauty need some time alone. Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
If Alexander wants to exchange...
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
That mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very good, Prince Alex. It is always a pleasure doing business with you. Enjoy the mechanical nightingale and feel free to bring it back anytime.
Thank you.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
A group of serving women approach the castle.
Ah, Wolf! More serving women. The castle staff is certainly busy today.
Aye, Gruff. Get a move on there, wenches. There's plenty of work left to do before the wedding.
Yes, Sergeant Gruff.
Those serving wenches are always late.
Taking his cue from the serving women he's seen enter the castle, Alexander decides to try a few alterations to make himself more acceptable to the guards. He ducks into the little hut to put on Beauty's clothes. Feeling a little foolish, Alexander slips Beauty's old slave clothes on over his own. Imagine if Cosima saw him like this.
Well, here we go.
You there! Girl! You're late! Get a move on before the Wazir sees you!
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The castle guards lock the main entrance doors behind Alexander. From the open door comes the clatter of pots and pans, yelled instructions, and other busy kitchen noises.
Girl, don't just stand there. There's a stack of silver almost to the ceiling that needs polishing for the wedding. Get a move on!
Phew. I can't afford to get caught up in that mess. I'd never find Cosima.
Whoa! Alexander runs right into a guard dog patrol.
By Cerebus Collar, I'll be glad when this wedding is over. Bay, I'm getting mighty tired of this patrol. It's wearied me to the bones.
I couldn't agree with you more, Wolf. Who'd have thought we'd ever have to listen to Princess Cosima crying all day long, and be ordered to ignore it yet?
Something sticks in my craw about the whole thing. The Wazir says that the princess is not herself, says she's half mad with grief over her parents' death. I can see it, the poor mite, but still.
I agree, it seems cruel to lock her up when she's so heartbroken. Let her out in the fresh air, I say. It'll do her a world of good.
Aye, well, she insisted on the mourning period, and it's up today. Thank the stars.
It's too bad we couldn't find that nightingale of hers. The Wazir says she's been pining for it.
Humph! If I had an ounce of luck, I'd have found it weeks ago. Not only would it cheer up the princess, but the reward the Wazir's offered for it would make me pretty happy too, doggone it.
Oh, well, our luck will definitely be out if the Wazir catches us snapping our jaws at our post.
Sorry, Wolf. I'll keep my muzzle shut.
Alexander hears the guard's footsteps pause for a moment. then start up again. They must have turned at the end of the hallway and be on their way back towards the stairs. Alexander steps into the main hallway while the guards are headed south on their patrol.
Hey, who the...
Hello there.
Don't just stand there. Grab him, Bay!
Sarah,
I couldn't agree.
something's...
I agree. It's too bad we...
If I had it, not only would it cheer...
Oh, well...
Sorry, Wolf.
Alexander hears the guard's footsteps pause for a moment, then start up again. They must have turned at the end of the hallway and be on their way back towards the stairs. The guards pass the pillar, and Alexander sighs in relief. Phew, they didn't see him. The guards turn around at the staircase and head back. Phew, that was a close one. Alexander will have to walk out into the main hall if he wants to do something there. Alexander walks into the hallway to use the mechanical nightingale. Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it strategically on the floor of the upstairs hallway. The mechanical song echoes in the corridor. Alexander hears the sound of boots pounding as the guard dogs come to investigate. Alexander ducks behind the pillar.
Look at this, Wolf. A metal bird.
Sure is, Bay. How do you suppose a metal bird got in here?
You got me, but there's something weird about it. Hey, could this be Casima's nightingale, do you think?
What, you lapdog? The princess's nightingale isn't some tin thing?
How do you know? Have you seen it?
Well, no, but...
I don't know, Bay. Humans can be pretty strange. With their sense of smell, maybe she wouldn't even know it wasn't real. I say we take it downstairs to Captain Saladin. He'll know what to do with it.
What about our post?
Jowls and Might are in the other hallway. They can handle it for 5 minutes. Think about how happy the princess would be to get her nightingale back. And then there's that reward money and my missus.
Right, Wolf. Let's go.
Alexander hears the guard dog's boots clank noisily on the staircase leading down to the grand hall. Alexander takes a closer look at the portrait on the wall. Kindly smiles light up the faces of the couple in the painting. The man has an intelligent, sensitive look about him, and the woman is quite lovely. Alexander guesses that the man and woman in the painting are none other than King Caliphim and Queen Ilaria, Casima's parents. Alexander hears the muffled sound of crying coming from the back hallway. The door is locked from the inside. There must be somebody in there.
Hello? Anybody in there?
A voice from behind the door responds.
Go away! I said I didn't want to be disturbed! Stupid dogs.
The crying is louder here. It seems to be coming from the doorway on the north wall. The door is locked with a heavy padlock.
Hello? Is there someone in there?
Who's there?
Cosima, is that you? It's Alexander.
Alexander, is it really you? When Sing Sing brought me your ring, I could scarcely believe it. How did you get inside the castle?
Never mind that now, Princess. It isn't important. What can I do to help you? Do you want me to get you out of there? There's a padlock on the door, but I think...
No, please. Don't even think about that. There are guards everywhere, and the Wazir would have you killed if he found you. You shouldn't even risk being outside my door. Please go now, Alexander.
But what about you? I can't just leave you locked up like this.
The only way out for me is to stop the Wazir. See what you can do out there. In the meantime, I should be safe enough. He hasn't harmed me. Yet. Besides, if I can get my hands on something with which to defend myself, I'm pretty sure I'll get a chance to use it. The Wazir feels safe around me. No one else can get that close.
You're so brave, Princess. But it's too dangerous.
Have you forgotten where we met? What is Abdul compared to Mordak? I'll be fine. Now go!
Alexander hesitates.
I'll do as you say. I will find some way to help you, Cosima. I swear it.
I believe you, Alexander. Please, be careful.
Cosima, take this small dagger. It's not much, but perhaps it will prove useful to you.
Oh, thank you, Alexander. I'm sure it will help.
Uh-oh. Company.
Might, look at this!
Uh-oh. So this is where they took the mechanical nightingale.
Look! On the stairs! It's Prince Alexander of Daventry! Guards! Get that man! You were told to stay away from the castle and leave the islands. Why did you break into the castle? And how did you get past my guard dogs at the gate?
Well, I was worried about Cosima and...
Bah, never mind. Your presence here has been forbidden. I'm afraid I'm going to have you thrown in the dungeon. I'll figure out how you got in later. Guards!
You'll stay in here until we find out what the Wazir wants to do with you.
The guard dogs leave Alexander to his fate, locking the door noisily behind them. The sound of running footsteps echoes outside Alexander's cell.
What are you doing down here, Shrew? We've already got him locked up. Go back to your post upstairs. The Wazir wanted to know what all the commotion was about, and I told him about the intruder. He told me to post extra guards on this one. Extra guards, huh? So be it.
Just as Alexander realizes that he has no possible means of escape, he hears the sound of wedding music playing somewhere in the castle.
Confound this dungeon! I'll never be able to stop the wedding now.
Alexander finds the hallway door unlocked and slips inside. Alexander opens the ebony box and looks inside. Alexander can read the piece of paper without taking it. Inside the ebony box is a piece of paper with the word Zebu printed on it. The trunk is locked. The trunk says nothing of its secrets. The wardrobe is full of black cloaks and a rather sour smell. Alexander examines the clothes, but finds nothing of interest.